Yes guys, welcome to the video. Today we're joining you from the beaches of sunny Mallorca. I haven't done a video like this in a while. I wanted to use the video to kind of talk about, everything that's been going on with my marketing agency, kind of document the process. I've made some massive changes to my agency this year, not only to improve from a financial standpoint, improving my all-round work-life balance. I booked this trip 2 days ago, and the reason I booked this trip, one of my friends who's a super good videographer, shout out for us, you're going to be seeing him later on in the video. He's organised a shoot at one of my friends is modelling in. So we were like, we may as well just come out here and enjoy the sun and actually stay here for 5 days, even though the shoot is for 2 days. And the reason that's possible, and I bang on about it all of the time, is because we've invested in a digital skill. Being able to have the freedom where you can work from your laptop, you can travel to beautiful hotels like this and stay in Mallorca and just live a nice life, is because you have the location freedom to travel. Here's the main man, the best videographer in the world, made it happen. You know you're doing good at videography when you got the car THH at the side. Come on.
Bro, the shoot was unreal. We got everything boxed off and we were on schedule as well. So, efficiency.
So it's dinner on you. To update you a little bit about what's been going on with me and the agency. I've been stuck on maybe around the making 20 to 25 grand a month for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. But I had an experience, those of you that have watched any of my YouTube videos before, I spent the first quarter of the year in Thailand. And that was a very eye-opening experience for me, because when you go to these countries, you realize that different cultures have different perspectives of what rich is. I won't blabber about it too much, but in a nutshell, in the UK, if you're rich, you're someone that's got a load of money, nice car, nice apartment. But when you go to places in deep Asia, these people I was meeting on Thailand, they don't have any money. They are poor in the sense of they can barely get by. But I realized when I was in rooms with these people, not many of them would swap places with me. And that's because they're viewing what rich is as, how do you spend your day today? Are you free? Can you get to do what you want? And even though I was making all right money out there, I was having to grind, work on my laptop. And that's when I realized that I had to make a pivot with what I was doing with my business. And this one change allowed me to have a much nicer work-life balance without scaling in the sense of earning more money, but I scaled in terms of my lifestyle, because I've now developed more freedom and I can go away and take it a little bit easier on a few trips if I want, and it doesn't actually impact the day-to-day running of the business. And that one thing is finding a niche. Anyone that knows anything about Instagram, Facebook advertising, we're talking about 85% of the world. So that's a lot of people, therefore a lot of different businesses tend to work when you advertise in this way. But I was being the jack of all trades. I was trying to work with the tattoo artists, with the aesthetics agencies, with the dentists, and operationally that becomes an absolute nightmare, because setting up someone's funnel from complete scratch with no template is obviously a lot more work than if you had a copy and paste system. I ended up going to the niche of working with finance brokers. And I'll tell you the things that I noticed that really made a positive impact in the business. Number one, that is a niche where people have typically a decent amount of money. So it's easier to sell to these people high ticket products because they have the cash. There's no point pitching a business that doesn't have the cash. So I've picked a niche that I know has money. I've also picked a niche where I know that they've got high ticket products. People that offer bridging finance, their commissions are 3 or 5K a time. So they're making good money per deal. So when you run ads and you're getting a client to spend £1,000 a month, even if they just got one deal in that entire month, they're probably 3xing their money. And then also from an operational standpoint, all these people kind of do the same thing. Yeah, they're all offering the same service. So I had a template of what I need my CRM system, what I need the ads to look like. I had a clear framework of what that person's ad setup needed to look like in order for it to win. So when I was taking on new clients, when my old onboarding process might have took me a week to actually strategize, think, sit down, it's copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, and it's so much slicker. It reduced my work hours in terms of client setup by like 5 hours per account. Then this moves us on to some of the sales things. When you're operating in a niche and you're only working with a set type of client, you obviously are only going to get clients in that niche. So guess what? You've got a load of different case studies. When you're pitching a client and say, hey, I can do your marketing for your dental practice for you because I did it for this tattoo artist, this aesthetics practice, they don't really give a fuck because it's not relevant to them. If you do in the niche, over time, you're going to develop. I got 24 case studies of finance brokers that this works for very well, and I can show them and they can go and call them, and it just really helps build that trust. Final thing, giving you a lot of benefits here, is the money you can charge. The nicher you are, the more money you get paid. Absolute fact. Who gets paid more? The GP or the brain surgeon? It is the brain surgeon, because that is a specialist skill. People are prepared to pay more money to work with the specialist. So even though I'm technically doing the same work, and in fact it's less work because I've got it more slick operationally for me, to the point that it's copy and paste with a bit of tweaking to make it unique to their own branding, I'm getting paid probably about 40% more for doing the same amount of work. So any of you guys that are watching this and you're starting marketing agencies, you've got one and you're trying to take to the next level, if you want a nicer life and to make more money per client, make sure that you go into a niche. That was the number one change that I've done this year. And you know, I've actually got a much better work-life balance now. When I was taking on here, there and everywhere and whoever wants it clients, I was in the hunter mode. I was hunting, trying to get you. My whole life is consumed with taking sales calls. Now, because I've niched down, obviously you're not in a position where you can take on more than, say, 30 clients, because they're all going to compete against each other, which means the only way you're going to be able to maintain the amount of money that you're making is with client retention. And client retention, getting your revenue, making 25 grand from client retention and making 25 grand in terms of new sales, the retention one is better, because you don't have to be grinding your ass off, sweating, chasing these people on these sales calls. They're coming in, the trust is built, they're happy to buy from you, providing you're living up to your end of the bargain and you're looking after them as clients. And now I've shifted my focus into making sure my guys, my people have the best experiences possible. Everything else has taken care of itself.
Serving value now. Official assistant.
That's mine.
That's your one, okay.
So having taken my agency from just making like a few £100 a month to all of a sudden now hitting consistent 25k months, I thought I would just talk about the team structure required to do that. In my opinion, to go above and beyond that 10k a month mark, I don't think you're going to be able to do that by yourself. You are going to need a team. However, you can hire a team which is very streamlined. I think of employment and delegation as like a ladder which goes in stages. So the first thing you want to outsource is admin. There's anything to do with like emails or like any of like just the day-to-day tasks. Everybody has an assistant in their business, and if you don't have an assistant, it's probably you. Okay, so you get rid of admin first. The second thing you want to get rid of is fulfillment. So if you're a paid media marketer, you should not be the person setting up the Facebook and Instagram ads. You can train someone to do it as long as you give them the guidance, because if you are stuck in actually delivering the service, this means you can't do stuff like the sales calls and all these other revenue generating activities. The third one is marketing. You shouldn't be spending time doing your own marketing, because there are probably people that do this better than you that you can pay for not a big chunk. A lot of marketing agencies charge like retainer fees. So find another way of generating leads and pay these companies to do it, so you don't have to get involved doing that. Now, because you're not spending your time doing marketing, next thing that you want to outsource is sales. This is an absolutely massive one. The only revenue generating activity that you're probably doing in your business is taking these sales calls, especially if you're a service-based business. And the problem is, if you're just one person doing the sales calls, you're going to reach your full capacity soon. So scaling will require you to outsource other salespeople that maybe aren't even as good as you, but just because they can take more volume, probably make more money as long as they're decent. And the final thing is leadership. I'm assuming most people's goal is you just want to be on the beach chilling. So if you have a good manager or a good CEO or something like that to oversee the operations of the admin, of the fulfillment and delivery, of the marketing, of the sales, then you are fully hands off. That's the dream. I don't know whether that exists or not. So in terms of the staff that I have for my team, I have 2 full-time employees and I use a couple of contractors. The very first hire that I did, and I would recommend people to do, was I actually outsourced fulfillment first. So I hired another paid media advertiser that maybe wasn't as good as me or as knowledgeable as me, but it was someone that showed really good characteristics of being able to learn skills fast. He had fantastic work ethic and I can train him to fulfill the task at the level that I want him to be. My second hire, and I think these are the first 2 hires that you should have if you're wanting to scale your marketing agency, maybe from that 10K a month mark to the 20s, is a client success manager. When it comes to losing clients, people leave pretty much for one of 2 reasons. One is obviously you're not getting them the results, that's fair enough. And the second one is lack of communication. I cannot stand and I refuse to lose clients for that reason. So I implemented a client success manager. Her job is just to handle the day-to-day comms, ring people, check in if they're good, have you got any questions? And if she does, and if they do have techie questions that she's not going to know the answer to, her job is to ticket them within our Trello system, which is the project management software system that we use. And I go over those tickets every day at 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock, write the responses, and then she goes and gives them to the customers. If you're someone that's struggling with churn rate or client retention, I'm telling you now, it might not be something to do with how you're actually delivering the service. It might just be you're not communicating with your clients enough. It was something that I really underestimated how important the role of a client success manager is. So hiring them to do your check-ins and everything is something that's really important. I personally like to do like the performance reviews myself, but if this thing's just like generic feedback and everything, having that point of contact to speak with is super important. Other things I outsource obviously someone to do our video editing. I outsource someone to kind of manage our appointment setting softwares, and I outsource a developer if I need. But in terms of like your main hires, I would highly recommend, if you're someone that's predominantly doing the sales calls and you're the front face of the business, whatever you want to call it, like I am for ours, get rid of your fulfillment and get rid of your admin and customer satisfaction, customer success. That will be the thing which sorts your retention out and allows you to get to that next level. And that is the end of the video. So big thank you for watching, guys. Hopefully those marketing nerds watching this video took some value. I'm really grateful for the fact that marketing has just allowed me to live literally my dream lifestyle. I get to travel the world, work from my laptop. I have the freedom to experience so many different things. I'm really passionate about sharing that message and hopefully can help out anybody else on that same path. If you are interested in learning marketing, or you feel like you can do more than the generic 9 to 5, you weren't built for it, like I don't think we are, make sure you reach out via the Cura Marketing website and we can talk about how we can help you with our mentorships. Till next time, big thank you.